upon a time, there was a king.
This is the last year that I'm doing The Tonight Show.
His loyal subjects.
Flip a coin. Dave, doesn't matter to me.
How could a television show be worth this much embarrassment?
A fairy godfather.
We shall frame a deal that will make you one of the giants.
The queen mother of all managers.
See, I don't have a contract with you. I can move Jay to CBS within a month.
HBO Pictures comes clean about late-night TV's dirtiest fight. The Late Shift, coming this month, only on HBO.
Whoa, can we clear something up here? Just because I look like this doesn't mean I taste like them. Give me a break. I'm Stag Chili. There's more to Stag than just tomato paste and onion or chili powder. See for yourself. You're looking at chunks of vine-ripened tomato. Oh, excuse me, chopped onions. 2 kinds of beans, bell peppers, juicy beef, and wait till you taste these seasonings. Hey, I taste so good I even surprise myself. So why am I hanging around with these guys? Somebody get me out of here!
They're out there. They're not like most of us. There's a passion that unites them, like a family. Some people have even called them rebels. They're Saturn owners.
Hey, guys, this must be the place, huh?
Ladies, hurry up! The factory guy's gonna talk.
I don't know. I guess if you don't own one, you probably wouldn't understand.
Right now, Pier 1's bedroom furniture is 20% off. That means everything you see here is now even more affordable. But you'll have to choose quickly because this sale won't last forever. Pier 1 Imports. Sale ends March 1st.
Come into Subway and get 2 freshly made tuna sandwiches for just $3. Or go to those other places and get 2 freshly made 6-inch tuna subs for $3. For a limited time at Subway.
I made this.
Hallmark Entertainment and Fox present a world premiere mystery. John Whalen had what it takes to be a winner.
We're 22 points ahead, gentlemen.
Until a haunting secret tore his world apart.
You're not a killer.
Apparently I am.
Now, his wife has disappeared without a trace.
Kathy!
And he's the prime suspect.
What'd you do with the body, Senator?
Peter Strauss, Oscar nominee Kathleen Quinlan, and Peter Boyle. In the Lake of the Woods, a Fox original movie, March 5th.
Americans demand a third choice. It often changes and renews the major parties, making winners into losers, and vice versa. Hello, I'm Ben Wattenberg, moderator of the public television series Think Tank. More often than you might think, Americans have looked beyond the two major political parties and reached for a third choice. When they do, big things often happen in American politics and in American life. Let's start at the beginning. First, why two parties? In fact, why parties at all? In the beginning, the founders agreed. They wanted no parties in their new country.
There is nothing I dread so much as the division of the Republic into two great parties, each under its leader, John Adams.
Ignorance leads men into a party, and shame keeps them from getting out again. Benjamin Franklin.
If I could not go to heaven but with a party, I would not go there at all. Thomas Jefferson.
When the framers met in Philadelphia in 1789, the Constitution they drafted made no mention of parties at all.
I think the Founding Fathers were operating from a perspective where they had the English experience in view, they had the experience of the Italian city-states, the Roman Republic, the Greek polis, where they felt that parties tended to be kind of illegitimate. There was still a feeling in the air that to systematically oppose the people that were in charge of the government, which is what an opposition party does typically, was somehow illegitimate, and you really shouldn't do that.
Despite that, the seeds of today's two-party political system were soon planted during the first administration of the first American president, George Washington. Washington's cabinet included two brilliant and powerful men with opposing views of America's future: Thomas Jefferson, the Secretary of State, and Alexander Hamilton, the Secretary of the Treasury. Jefferson hoped America would remain a nation of independent farmers and yeomen like those in his home state of Virginia. And so, he wanted to limit the federal government and leave important decisions to the states.
I am for preserving to the states the powers not yielded by them to the Union. Thomas Jefferson.
Hamilton thought America should become a unified industrial nation, which required a strong federal government, able to stand equal to the great powers of Europe.
Let the 13 states, bound together in a strict and indissoluble union, concur in erecting one great American system, able to dictate the terms of the connection between the old and new world. Alexander Hamilton.
Over the course of his presidency, Washington grew increasingly worried that the rift between Hamilton and Jefferson would develop into what was called factions.
Let me warn you in the most solemn manner against the baneful effects of the spirit of party. George Washington.
The founders were universally and unanimously against political parties. George Washington's farewell address warned America about two things: beware entangling alliances, that is, be isolationist in the world. And the second one was beware the baneful influence of party. So our father of our country voices this warning 8 years into the Republic at the end of his 2 terms of office, at the very moment when the parties are forming.
Just as Washington had feared, by the election of 1800, parties had formed. The Democratic Republicans rallied behind Thomas Jefferson. The Federalists who supported Hamilton's ideas backed incumbent President John Adams. Jefferson won. America now had 2 parties. Why not more?
The rules of the game are stacked against third parties in this country, and I don't think it's because the founders intentionally understood or decided that they were going to make it a two-party system. In fact, the founders didn't even talk about parties in any of the documents or debates. Simply put, any system of elections where winner takes all by plurality is a system that favors two parties.
Winner-take-all elections. Here's what it means. Let's say you have two candidates running for president. If candidate A gets 51% of the vote in a state and candidate B gets 49%, candidate A gets 100% of that state's electoral votes and candidate B gets nothing.
This literally discourages new parties because of the psychology of the wasted vote. If there are two guys running and there's a third guy comes along, he has no chance of winning, though I prefer him. In those days were all him. Then it's better to cast your vote for the lesser of the two evils between the two major guys.
And so, despite the founders' early intentions, America ended up with political parties, two of them. And the rules of the game made it difficult for any additional party to win the allegiance of voters. Difficult, but not impossible. In 1826, a third choice party emerged. It was founded on a conspiracy theory concerning a secret society that built this monument to its most famous member, George Washington. That society was the Masons. The original 13 colonies had restricted voting rights to white male property owners. But the new states to the west extended the franchise to workers, tenant farmers, and artisans. One by one, the older eastern states followed their lead. Alas, women and blacks were still excluded.
Third parties have risen up usually in situations where one or really both of the two parties leave a kind of vacuum, leave a major political point of view in this diverse country unrepresented in a political contest.
The first third party tapped into just such an unrepresented political view, the resentment by new voters toward the American establishment. Many in that establishment were members of the exclusive Masonic Order, a powerful secret society devoted to good works and what we might today call networking. In fact, most of the founding fathers had been Masons, including Washington, who was sometimes portrayed wearing a Masonic apron and used a Masonic Bible to take his oath of office.
Unless you were a Mason, you could not advance in law, could not advance in business, could not advance in anything.
Many of those shut out of the system began to believe there was a plan, a conspiracy to shut them out. And then something happened to confirm their worst fears. A renegade Mason named William Morgan disappeared.
He got into a quarrel with his fellow Masons and threatened to reveal the secrets of the order. He was arrested on trumped-up charges, I think, and eventually he disappeared, and we believe he was taken from prison and drowned in the Niagara River. The disappearance of Morgan and his presumed murder aroused the people of western New York to such a fever pitch, and this developed almost instantaneously into a political move to get rid of all Masons in public office. At least that was something the people could do.
Anti-Masons like New York political boss Thurlow Weed suspected a Masonic conspiracy to protect those charged with the crime.
We labored under serious disadvantages. The people were unwilling to believe that an institution so ancient, to which so many of our best and most distinguished men belonged, was capable of not only violating the laws, but of sustaining and protecting offending men of the order. Thurlow Weed.
As anti-Masonic feelings rose, the two major parties were going through big changes. By 1832, the Federalists were gone. The Democratic Republicans split into two parties, each lined up behind a powerful national figure. Followers of President Andrew Jackson were Democrats. Supporters of Senator Henry Clay were Whigs. They complained that Jackson was trying to increase the power of the presidency, and they called him King Andrew. In the election of 1832, it was Jackson versus Clay.
His supporters told him to renounce his membership in the Masonic Party, which he refused to do. And of course, Andrew Jackson was considered, quote, a grand king of the Masonic order. So the Masonic groups could not have anything to do with him. They had to get a third candidate. So they formed a third party, national party. They had state parties by that time, and they held the first national nominating convention, and ironically put up a former Mason in William Wirt. And he took votes from both candidates.
I saw a murder.
When did this happen?
1976.
Are you saying we should open a 27-year-old case?
Yeah. It's about your daughter. A witness has come forward, someone that was there the night she died.
From the producer of CSI.
Smile, and maybe a chance to live happily ever after.
Should I play it safe or go for it?
I'd say either way, Annika. KFC honey barbecue wings or new boneless wings. You competed with the ladies and the men. Do both.
One great taste, two great choices. Choose between new boneless wings or honey barbecue wings. Get 7 for $2.99 or 20 for